Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Ajian. Here's some of the top stories we have for you tonight. A St. Thomas senator says enough is enough. Several restaurants go out of business on St. Croix, and BOGO's entertainment report. These stories and more up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, St. Thomas Senator Janet Millen Young comes out against the wave of violence that has plagued our territory, especially here on St. Croix. News Channel 8's Wes Small has the story.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. A little wet outside, so doing a lot of research inside News Channel 8 control room. Folks, we have a dark cloud over us, and it's not Hovenza or Diageo, and it's not the bad weather. We have a dark cloud of shame in our territory with unsolved murders and also missing people. I want to remind you that this is May 20th, and it was 3 years ago today. The body of Dustin Rhodes, 26-year-old EMT, was found Scenic Road West on St. Croix. Here's a quote from Melody Rames, who is VIPD spokesperson, and she said, "An autopsy will determine the official cause of death." Folks, 3 years ago today, there's been no autopsy done on Dustin Rhodes' body. We're still looking for Susan Spencer. Remember her. She's still missing in our territory. Recently, 16-year-old Jamal Richardson brutally killed in the Frederickstead church that was being constructed. Now petitions are now circulating in the community to identify this as a hate crime. Still, his perpetrators are on the loose. But perhaps the most shameful and embarrassing case of unsolved crimes in our territory is the disappearance of Wendell Lazzie Williams, one of the VIPD's own. He was missing since June 13, 2001. Yes, his 10-year anniversary is just 3 weeks away. Shame on us all. Shame on us all in our territory. And now, just a couple of days ago, we've had the 13th homicide here on St. Croix. 26-year-old Troy Christian from Richmond. And it took a rookie term senator from St. Thomas out of our district to call us out on this. Senator Janet Millen Young, who is now initiating a task force to stop the shameful violence in our territory. Today, we'd like to applaud and go to the phone line and talk to Senator Young.
We've lost hundreds of young men. So my thing is, and I'm not just, disregarding the loss of life of anyone who is not in that category, but that category, it is just staggering the amount of young men that we've lost. So we're basically allowing an entire generation to be wiped out. And what I'm saying is, let's look at it as a public health issue. And for those who are not concerned about it and not emotional about it, then you look at it as an economic issue. However you look at it, we must address it because it is impacting our community. It's socially and is impacting on us economically as well. So what I'm saying is, let's call for a multi-agency task force where we're bringing together not the ceremonial leaders, not the policymakers such as the commissioners, but in fact the soldiers within the departments. So I don't want the Commission of Education. I don't want the Commission of Human Services. I want the soldiers within those departments to be a part of this task force and make sure we come up with preventive measures, that we are dealing with not just the symptoms, but attacking the problem head on. And again, once they come up with their measures, then as legislators, we then come up with how we best solve this issue by bringing legislative remedies. But certainly in education, we got to beef that up. We've got to beef up the amount of opportunities for recreation. Because when I go to the different schools, one of the major problems that we have there, and a task force doesn't have to tell me, is the lack of playground facilities. Our children can't just go to the classroom and learn in the four walls. What about the social education? When they're out in a playground that is not full of rocks, well, they can play and interact much better with each other instead of having recess in a classroom. These are some of the things that I'm looking at to ensure that we don't just say, listen, children, don't commit crimes. I'm telling you, don't commit a crime because this is the alternative that I'm posing for you. There is an alternative for you. And it seems simplistic, but it's very complicated. And if we don't start today, when will we start and how will we address the problem?
Again, I want to say, yes, we are under a dark cloud in our territory, and it's not Hovenza, Diageo, or the rainy weather. It's a dark cloud of shame. If you see something, say something. Remember, if they come for me tonight, they'll for sure come for you tomorrow. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And we want to thank Janet Millen-Young for her words tonight, and also to Wes Small. And in other news tonight, besides the violence and pollution plaguing St. Croix, now we've learned that several popular restaurants have gone out of business as well. News Channel 8's Wes Small gives us the story.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Actually, very sad news to report about the business community. Usually when I have this gentleman next to me, he's Mr. Positive when it comes to jump up and just good things with the business. But we're standing here of Case Place, and the cameraman and I have eaten here many a time before. Delicious food, great ambiance, and excellent customer service the years here at Chandler's Wharf in Gallows Bay. I understand that this is just one of many businesses now that are suffering and actually closed their doors. Look at this. Right now, you couldn't even get a table here a couple of years ago. I remember you actually had to call ahead to be on a list, Colin. I've seen you eat here plenty of times and so forth. And the prices were very low, too. Sad to report, this is just one of the many restaurants and so forth that actually have to close their doors. Is it because of the LEOC? Is it because of the climate of violence, what have you? But what I'd like to address tonight, why does it take News Channel 8 to do this? Where are the government entities, the watchdogs that should be alerting the public and the businesses alone that we are falling down the toilet? Why does it take News Channel 8 to let people know that the sky is falling? Colin, usually you're positive when it comes to businesses, but tonight you have sad news to report.
Thanks. You know, I try to be positive, and I'm still positive regardless. You know, about 3 weeks ago, I was alerted that, you know, the Case Place was closing, actually 4 weeks ago. And I started looking into it, and I was told the reasons why. And I would like you guys to really find out from them the 2 or 3 reasons that really led to this. Because as you mentioned, Case Place has been one of the most successful restaurants on St. Croix. The owners were partners in another restaurant in Christiansted for, you know, a very long time. And they took the initiative less than 10 years ago to open their own establishment. And as you said, 2 years ago, you had to literally wait or call ahead to get reservations for lunch. And so the success story was here 2 years ago, and 2 years later, the restaurant is closed. Just one of the many, you know, unfortunate situations here that we have on St. Croix, especially in the restaurant and bar area. We have literally 5 restaurants that has closed their doors in the last 3 to 4 weeks.
5 restaurants.
5 restaurants, unheard of. Regardless of what the situations are, I can guarantee you there are 2 or 3 similar variables that has led to the closing of these restaurants. You know, I keep on saying and I keep on suggesting that, you know, external environments we cannot control. But as a community, let's try and make sure, as a government, as entities, let's make proactive plans that collectively we can have, you know, a society that has the ability to come out and spend, a society that's safe, that feel comfortable to come out and spend. But more importantly, we have all of the elements to therefore enable these restaurants, these businesses to survive, and therefore enhancing the economic scenario of our government. When they stay in business, our government collect more taxes. When they stay in business, more people are employed, and the free enterprise scenario works. There is no doubt. You know, we have Cultured Pelican that's now closed.
Cultured Pelican.
Yes, we have Case Place. We have another one on the West End. Of course, we have 2 in the Princess area. And I would like you guys to really call them, find out the objective reasons so that they can give you the exact 2 or 3 things that led up to them being closed.
What are the restaurants in Princess that have closed?
Well, you know, there's one of them that doesn't want their name to be called at this time because they only close for the summer while they reorganize.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah, there is no doubt. They're closed for the summer while they reorganize to try and hopefully stay in business for the upcoming season. Right. I mean, they're literally trying to get, you know, their business off the market. They're really trying to get it sold.
Colin Hodge, a lot to say, but if you're just joining us, we stand here at abandoned and deserted Case Place, which used to be a 5-star restaurant in Christiansted with a 2.5-hour waiting list just for lunch, let alone dinner. And what I might add, one of the most delicious meals that I've had. Sadly, just one of 5 restaurants that has closed within the last few weeks. At Chandler's Wharf, in front of a ghost town abandoned building where souls cry out for justice once again, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes Small. And now we want to take you back to April 2nd, 2011. That Saturday night was a devastating night for Country Days School. On that fateful night, 2011, electrical malfunction caused a devastating fire at the Country Day Art Building, destroying the Art Center and all its contents utterly. Fortunately, it happened on a weekend, so no one was injured, and also, fortunately, the fire was contained and no other buildings were affected. But unfortunately, the contents of that art building were lost in the fire forever, and students have no art room to speak of on that campus at this time. The Art Center and the Country Day School needs your help this weekend, and St. Croix Country Day School is having a fundraiser at the Comanche Club Hotel starting at 6 p.m. Cover is $10. There is a cash bar. It is a silent art auction and dance, and that's this Saturday night. All the proceeds will help to go and rebuild the Country Day School's Art Center that was destroyed by that fire on April 2nd. And that'll be a great time for all family members to attend, and it'll also go to a good cause, helping the Country Day School Art Building. When we come back from this break, something really cool is happening at the Herbert Gregg home. Stay with us.